Here we go. Episode 3 of Solo Camping for 2. Gen is finally solo camping, and he's grilling up a steak and seasons it with a dash of salt. And he's like, man, can't get enough. But then he remembers eating with Shizuku and is like, well, her cooking was pretty good, I will say that. He has a flashback to camping with his dad and making feather sticks. And Gen is like, man, this sucks. You do it, Dad. And his dad said the same thing he said to Shizuku, which was he can't do it for him because when he solo camps, he needs to be able to do everything himself. And his dad also said that someday he will camp with someone and he'll have to teach them just like he is teaching him.
Question, what's the fucking point of a feather stick other than to, like, pass time?
I think it catches fire easier.
I think you're right. Because he threw one into the fire before, and then he had the second one in his hand, and then threw it in.
I have never made a feather stick. I don't know what wood you use to make a feather stick. I imagine it would act as a tinder of some sort.
Yeah, I swipe on that. I don't have Tinder. I'm too old for that shit.
Back to present day Gen. He thinks even when he tried to give up, his dad made him do everything himself. And maybe his dad knew he was going to die young, but then thinks he's messing up his first solo camping trip in a while, and then thinks he's been acting weird ever since he met Shizuku. So we get some past character development for Gen here. We see his dad, and his dad was in episode 1 too, I think. So he lost his dad, and probably camping is one of those things that he's held on to as a connection to his father.
Mm-hmm. I went camping with my dad when I was very, very young. Watching this show and having an identifiable experience like that was also a little fun enjoyment for me. To remember fishing with my pops. That was really fucking awesome. Cherish those experiences, my friends.
Cuts to Shizuku hanging out with her friends, but then she gets a text and looks happy. At the bar, she tells them it's Gen, and he wants to go camping again. And the girls are like, ooh, you must like that old dude. She's like, no, I just like to camp. The girls are like, camping this weekend? And Shizuku is like, no, Gen is going to buy equipment. And she said she wants to get her own tent soon. But there's so many options, maybe going to a store is better. Cuts to Gen at Wild-1 outdoor store. And he's looking for a coffee grinder he probably doesn't need. But then Shizuku rolls up and she's like, oh, fancy meeting you here, Gen. And he is visibly peeved. And Shizuku's friends are just creeping behind like a clothes hanger thing, watching their interaction.
Is this visibly peeved, chat? Is this what visibly peeved looks like to you? I think this looks like fucking terror.
I think that's peeved. That's what I look like when I'm peeved,
He
I think.
hears her, and inside, he's like, oh no. We're in public, and I have to turn around and acknowledge this person here, now. That's what happens.
Yeah, he's like, I'm peeved, and then he makes that face. Shizuku is like, well, I'm thinking of buying a solo tent. And Gen is like, okay, they're over here. And he directs her, and Gen is like, well, I'm responsible for what I rescued, so I don't mind giving you some of my time. Just let me know in advance. And I thought that was kind of weird, because so what did Gen do? Like, we never saw the text between Gen and Shizuku. Did Gen literally text her, I'm going to buy camping gear? That's it? Like, that was your fucking text?
I imagine he was like, hey, how are things? What's up, girl? And then it was like a dick pic, and then it was like, hey, I'm going to get some camping gear.
Yeah, that all
because, like,
up.
that's how dudes start conversations in 2025, right?
I don't think I've ever done that.
Oh. Live a little bit, Greg.
Is that how I should text? Is that how you want me to text you?
You can shoot me a text. I'll judge your dong for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Real friendship in here, dude.
That's when I need more judgment in my life.
I'll be like, hey, that's a good coomer you got right there, buddy.
Yeah. Is that what? Oh, I thought it meant something else.
I don't fucking know, brother.
All right. Shizuku is like, I hear that a 2 or 3 person tent is easier. And Gen says, you right, but if you effectively use the vestibule, then it solves the problem. And I also have a note here that says that is 100% true. And that is what I do. If you utilize the vestibule of your tent to store your gear, you don't have to store it inside of the tent to take valuable tent space. Now, I guess if it was raining super hard and you weren't able to pitch your tent so the ground underneath the vestibule is wet, you might have to bring the gear inside.
These are words that mean something to somebody somewhere in the world. But to me, I've heard the word vestibule. All right, you could say the location. Like, oh, put that in the chiffon. Like, fuck you, dog. I don't know what a chiffon is. Like, oh, this is going to bring it back to that the Family Guy joke. Yeah, put it on the Davenport. Eat my ass, dude. What the fuck is a Davenport? These are just words. And they sound more made up, but all words are made up. I don't know what the vestibule is. But a vestibule sounds like something that covers... Explain what it is, Greg.
This is how you expand your vocabulary, because I didn't know what a coombe was.
But dude, vestibule me right now, Greg. Okay. Give me the vestibule.
The vestibule is the area in front of the tent that doesn't have... The floor of the tent isn't covering it. So basically you have your tent, and then you have the rain covering over the tent, and then that has a flap that extends out past the tent. So it's basically covering the entrance of the tent, but you can put gear there as well.
So you're still putting gear on the ground?
Yes, you put gear on the ground. Like your backpack. If you have a one-person tent, then that tent is basically like fitting you and your sleeping pad and your sleeping bag. That's it. So when you get in your tent, you would leave like your shoes and your backpack in the vestibule, which is outside, and then you would get into your tent. But it's still covered from the elements, but you're still setting it on the bare ground.
Okay. All right. But like, houses have vestibules. A patio is a vestibule.
Just think of it as a place you put your fucking gear that is covered by the tent, but it doesn't have a tent floor.
But not all vestibules have walls. That's untrue, because in my brain, I don't know. This isn't going to come up on a quiz or anything like that. Anyways, thank you for our home listeners for trying in chat to really, really hammer home that I'm not intelligent.
Maybe you should just listen to Gen as he explains the differences in tents. And he's like, if you got all that, then go ahead and pick a tent out by yourself. Gen goes and does his own shopping, but then circles back and is like, hey, I'm going to get out of here. And he's like, oh, you got other stuff. And then he explains the difference between cooking stoves and the materials that they are made out of. Gen is like, okay, I'm actually going to leave this time. But before he leaves, he walks forward, stops, turns around, and reluctantly says that he will be in touch. And then he leaves. And then Shizuku's friends are like, damn, girl. This was basically a date. Okay. Cuts to Gen. Well, I was waiting for you to say something. I thought you were...
No. Chat's going crazy right now, and I had to type out something to Pinky. She's going crazy.
Cuts to Gen and Shizuku's solo camping for 2 trip. And Shizuku is all happy. But Gen is like, hold up. Let's review our solo camping for 2 rules. And he's like, I'll decide the distance between our tents. And Shizuku is worried he's going to put like a mile between them. But Gen decides like 10 feet is good enough. And he said he won't be able to look after her if she's too far away. And she's like, Gen, you aren't acting like yourself. And he's like, well, I can make you go farther if you want. But she's like, nah, I'm going to go set up my little red panda. And he's like, oh, she's got a panda tent. I have a note here. Secretly, Gen didn't want to put her farther away because he wanted to eat all of her food.
100%. Yeah. Gen was like, all right, I've got to keep her close so the bears don't eat her, and then I don't get the food.
Yeah.
He's actually a closet bear.
Or a closet gooner.
Aren't we all, Greg? Aren't we all?
She's able to pitch her tent by herself, and she's happy about it, and she gets inside and enjoys the view of nature.
You know who else is able to pitch a tent by himself?
DJ Montague.
You're welcome. That was an excellent joke. And onward we go.
Okay. Gen makes an open fire, and he says some places don't even let you make fires at all. And it's all about low impact camping, which means reducing the damage to nature. But he says the biggest problem is camper etiquette, and you should be mindful of your surroundings and clean up after yourself. And that is truth.
100%. This is actually like the learner episode. It's like, hey, by the way, you've seen 2 people like try and kind of camp a little bit, but also don't be a piece of shit. Please don't be a piece of shit. I'm teaching you as we watch this anime together.
Yeah, I wish more people would do that. There's like a lake here that everyone like takes their boats out to, and there's a sandbar. It's like a big party area. And it just bugs me when people are literally just like drinking beer and then like beer cans just like fall into the water and like no one grabs them. And then you get out of your boat and you're walking around and you're just stepping on fucking empty beer cans and fucking beer bottles and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
In the lake.
There's zero accountability.
Yeah, it sucks.
And it comes back to the solo person and how you're so cool and you're the main character and you're so important. People start to lose the impact of what they do around them when they're not taught properly how to be a normal fucking person in the world and how impactful your actions truly are.
Gen is like, well, you're always causing me trouble, so ... And then his stomach starts growling. And Shizuku is like, okay, heard. I'll make food. And then she prepares a skewer feast. She takes out the grilling mesh, but he's like, wait, you can't use that because the food will burn. And he says they should use live charcoal, which is the firewood left after the fire dies. After his lesson, they grill up, and Gen can't wait. And they eat some healthy vegetable roll skewers. And Gen is like, fuck yeah. And then the next course is Finnish bacon-wrapped mushrooms with cheese in the middle.
Yeah, it sounds cool and all, but I don't like cheese that much.
Damn.
I would bacon wrap mushrooms and then go to fucking town.
Also,
like the veggie spring rolls, the type of thing that she makes, it sounds delicious.
You know something I don't like?
What's that?
I don't like capers.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah. So when you get like a New York style bagel, or you like hold the capers?
Yeah, and then when I'm in New York, they're like, get out of here. You're a bum. Is that a New York accent? Am I doing it? Or is that...
You're fucking... That sounds like
Chicago?
Like Greg was in the fucking 30s, and he's like... Hey, see?
But they finish, and Gen is like, damn, you never disappoint cooking. And Shizuku is like, Gen, you should start using my name. And Gen is like, what does it matter? I'm just helping until you can do it on your own. But she says camping with him is special. And even after she can do it solo, she still wants to camp with him. And she said she's still camping because of him. Gen is like, well, whatever. You need to sleep because you got an early morning. And he calls her Kusano, which is her last name. But she's like, no, call me Shizuku. And he's like, stop being so demanding. And he says, rule number 4, shut up and follow my orders. And then he calls her Shizuku.
A little weird.
But rule number 4 isn't shut up and follow orders. Rule number 4 is actually don't bother each other when someone wants to be alone. But that's okay, Gen. You just violated your own rules. Or you just made up your own rules, actually.
Yeah, also, like, bro, chill. This ain't that serious. Shut up and follow orders. Chill. Sexually charged, bro.
Oh, damn.
Maybe she's into that, and you just, like...
I didn't even think of it that way. In the morning, Gen breaks out his coffee grinder, and Shizuku is like, why so early? And he said, well, you'll miss it if it's too late. And then they watch the sunrise over the campgrounds. That's pretty romantic, I would say.
Yeah, I busted.
Oh, damn.
I coomed and boomed. I remember when I went camping, and it's really hard to stay asleep, obviously, the birds and all the flora and fauna, waking up to the morning.
Yeah.
You're usually, like, listening to nature wake up. And it's pretty cool because, like, you slept through the darkness, and you're waking up to the morning sun, and it's a beautiful experience. I remember watching it over a really small lake we were camping near, and I was like, that was really cool. And then the next 10 minutes, I was like, it's so fucking cold. Can we not? Can we stop this part? That's why Gen started the fire so fucking early. He's like, all right, because I want to enjoy this, and I don't want us to be cold. He's very smart, very aware of his surroundings. He's done this once or twice.
It's like he's solo camped before.
Yeah.
They pack up, and Shizuku is cleaning, and Gen is like, good job. She said she wants to leave it nicer than how she found it, but didn't really know the meaning of that until hanging out with Gen, and wants other people to see the same view, so she wants to keep it clean for people that come in the future. She's like, Gen, let's go camping again. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Next time, let's go. And then that's it. That's episode 3.
Good episode.
Yeah, we can see here that Gen is warming up to Shizuku, even though he's still trying to keep his old man crotchety defenses high. They're slowly being broken down by persistence and cooking.
They do a fantastic job of making camping look way fun. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, it took Gen 35 years to get to this point in time where a girl approached him and was like, you look kind of cool. So keep at it, I guess.
Yeah, you just have to keep practicing. Practicing is the best way to get better. And if you don't want to practice, then take your pants off and find a rugged camping adventurer that you can push yourself on, and then they will teach you instead.
Yeah, 100%.
I like it so far. I think solo camping's a good show. I didn't read the manga. I didn't watch the live action. But if it's anything like the anime, then I don't think I would mind indulging in either of those.
Yeah, 100%. I'm on the same exact feeling right now with this. It's an enjoyable experience to watch and a fun little show.